Have you ever been bullied for speaking perfect English? Not broken English, but perfect English. Well, I have, and this is a story time about that. In fact, I was mocked, isolated, laughed at for doing something that I didn't even choose for myself. This was something that I was trained to do since my childhood. Well, before you know the story, subscribe, drop a like, and let's just get into it. Well, before I was born, my mother had faced rejection at job interviews. Now, it was not because she was not smart enough, she was not qualified enough, she wasn't skilled enough. She was rejected only because she could not speak perfect English. She wasn't fluent enough, and she wasn't English speaking enough for the companies. On the other hand, her friends with average skill sets and average qualification cracked all the interviews, all because they could speak fluent English. Obviously, my mother was heartbroken, dejected. She decided that my child would never go through something similar. He or she will be fluent and speak English not just perfectly, but like a native. Then, of course, I was born, and even before I could be handed toys, I was handed a 1,000 words English vocabulary book. This book was extremely pictorial and had every single thing mentioned in English. Obviously, even before my mother tongue, I learned English. I called out to the world in English even before I knew any other language. My mother moved places just to shape the correct pronunciation of my words. At the age of 4, my father was shifted in Assam. I would be singing the Indian national anthem with a slight Assamese accent. She wanted me to speak my words out in a more native English pattern. My mother decided to opt for a transfer. She ensured that I moved to a school with a proper English-speaking environment. So there was the school where my mother wanted me to be a part of, and I got rejected from there. I had to know Hindi very well to be able to be a part of this absolute perfect English curriculum school. Language was again a challenge, a barrier between my mother's dream of me joining this perfect institution where my English could get perfect. My mother is not just a mother, mind you. She is a brilliant language coach. She knew very well that whatever I expose my child's ears to, my child would pick that very well in the developmental years. So she wouldn't compromise for anything. She ensured I was always around these native English-speaking teachers who could guide and help me speak better. So as a language coach, mind you, my mother somehow managed to teach me how to speak, how to read, how to write in Hindi. And in a matter of 15 days, mind you, I managed to crack that interview and be a part of that institution. This story sounds like a happy one because I was able to expose my ears to native English speakers, read in English, I would write in English, I would speak in English, and I would also think in English. All my thoughts would be in English. And that was making the process very smooth. Finally, my mother had manifested what she had been dreaming about. It was that amazing that I was actually a really fluent English speaker by the age of 8. And I could actually speak in the perfect accent, and my mother pushed me to acquire that accent. Soon came high school. I had to change schools due to my dad's transfer. I retained my accent. I would speak with confidence, clarity, and often with a smooth blend of British and American accent. And suddenly that became a problem. People started asking, "Why do you talk like that? Do you think that makes you very cool? You're in India, speak like an Indian. And you don't need that accent. You're faking yourself. And oh, you think you're better than us because you speak like that? You call me fake. They would call me wannabe. They would call me worse. My voice had soon become a target. Due to the bullying, I started code switching. What's code switching? Code switching is the behavior of switching your mannerisms based on who you are talking to. So for example, if you're talking to your parents, you speak and behave a certain manner. You're talking to your friends, you speak and behave a certain manner. So as soon as I would go to school, I would tone down my accent, try to speak as normally as possible, just to avoid being bullied. Years passed, and suddenly, what had become a target had become my power now. I majored in English. I became a TESOL and TEFL certified English tutor worldwide. And in order to interact with these foreign clients, all I needed was to speak English fluently and in that accent. Because if I spoke with a thick accent, they wouldn't understand or connect with me. And the irony of it all, I receive requests from Indian parents every single day to train their children to speak in a more native-like accent. They would request me to ensure that their kids do not speak in a, regional accent. Why is it like that? I kid you not, I receive requests from working professionals to train them how to speak in a native way so as they can connect with their foreign clients. They often share that connecting with foreign clients becomes a challenge with a thick or an Indian or any regional accent. I receive requests from Indians who've settled abroad to help them sound more native because they feel left out, they feel lonely when they cannot interact in that particular manner with their neighbors. Now here's the irony. I was expected to do something that once I was bullied for. There's a saying in English, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. This means do as per the customs and traditions of the place. If Priyanka Chopra can learn the American accent just to be able to connect with Hollywood better, and if Aishwarya Roy Bachchan can be talented enough to speak English in a native-like manner at the global stage, why can't you learn to twitch and switch accents? So then I asked myself a question. Why do people bring people down for speaking in an accent? Just like we prefer eating or dressing up like a particular culture, does not really mean we hate our culture. In a similar manner, if we admire speaking English in a certain accent, that doesn't make us haters of our own culture. Being able to speak in a different accent and switching accents is a matter of credit, not a matter of shame. Next time you see somebody try on an accent or trying to learn an accent, give them more power. Don't bring them down. I know how it feels to be judged. I know how it feels to be cornered, isolated, being called a wannabe. So that's where I decided to start and build a community via this channel. That's why AccentAri was born, to be able to create communicators from any and every part of this world who wish to learn a specific accent, who wish to speak English not only fluently, but in any particular accent as per their choice. Here at AccentAri, you could choose any particular accent you feel like speaking in, whatever makes you feel powerful, well-connected, and well understood. So if you've ever been bullied for not being able to speak a particular language, for not being able to speak any language in a particular manner, style, or for being able to speak any language, or for being able to try on accents, well, this is your safe space. Here at AccentAri, I wish to build a judgment-free, fearless, accent-proud community that gives each other more credit for speaking in a different accent. If you've also ever felt afraid of speaking in a manner or in a form you prefer, or you've been ever told that you are too much or you are not enough, this is your space. This is your family. This is your tribe. Hit that subscribe button and be a part of my mission. Let's create a judgment-free, fearless, and accent-proud community together.